Okay. So now we are letting everybody in. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the Urban Youth Racing School virtual STEM class. Really, this is going to be a conversation today. We're having this conversation with NASCAR driver number 24, Hendrick Motorsports, William Byron. Good morning, William. How are you? And welcome.
Good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So normally I'm always behind the scenes, and it's normally Anthony Martin, who's the founder, and John Cohen, who owns New York Racing and is also a board member. So I'm gonna let them say hello to you, and then I'm gonna give you the proper introduction, William.
That sounds good.
So good morning, William. It's really a pleasure to meet you.
Absolutely, you too.
And to have you on the show. John?
Yeah, how you doing, William? I appreciate you taking out the time to talk to the kids today. It means a lot to them.
Yeah, so, hey, William, I would have to guess that your adrenaline is flowing pretty strong right now since you're racing tomorrow.
We want to give William the proper introduction.
Oh, okay. I'm just so excited to talk to him. I can't stop myself.
All right, give me 2 seconds. Hold on. All righty. Because this video is exciting to me.
Yes. Oh boy, I don't know what's about to happen.
Hi, my name is William Byron. You're watching The American Athlete. Pole positions are great, but wins are a lot better. I'm William Byron, driver of the number 24 Exalta Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. I grew up in Charlotte, and I just started to watch races when I was 5 years old. Went to a handful of races every year from 5 to really 13 years old, and then got started in something called iRacing, which is simulation online that you can race against real competitors. And I did that for a couple of years, and then started to drive a race car for the first time when I was 14. You know, was always a race fan, and then eventually kind of grew to something else. The first go-kart race I actually did, I was 13. It was supposed to be like a driving school, basically, and I was trying to learn how to drive in general, and I was making a race out of it, and I spun somebody out during the practice lap, so they had to pull me in, kind of, slap me on the wrist and tell me I couldn't do that.
From go-karts to the Cup Series, Byron has had to earn his stripes while ascending the ranks of auto racing.
I think really just trying to learn the different competitive fields I've been in, whether it's been the NASCAR Cup Series or Xfinity, which is the lower series. They've all been different for me, so just trying to learn different people and different teams. And I feel fortunate now. I've been with Hendrick Motorsports for 3 years now, so I'm excited about the consistency there and kind of be able to work in the same business environment, but be able to go to the racetrack and not have to worry about new things. It is a grind. I think it all starts with really the way that you start the off season. I think that December and January are really the only months that we have to recover and rest our bodies. A crew chief might believe in one philosophy and the driver might believe in another. There's definitely times that you have to stand your ground and say, hey, this is how it needs to be. And then there's other races that he can help you more than you can help him in terms of speed of the car and just being competitive. And I think that where you come together on those things is difficult sometimes. There's certain racetracks that we go to
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Awesome.
pretty awesome. That was pretty awesome. Some quick housekeeping for all of the attendees. Listen, guys, as usual, when it's time for you guys to come up on the screen, just raise your hand and I'll bring you up one by one with your questions. You also have the Q&A button in the bottom, so that way you guys can come on that way as well. And I will make you, I'll make you a panelist if you bring your hand up, and one of us will help to get your question answered if you put it in the Q&A. All right, with that said, Mr. Martin, you're now free to get started.
So good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Every Race School Virtual STEM class. And we're very proud to have Mr. William Byron on with us today. So I guess my first question for you, William, is how did you get your start in racing? I kind of saw the video there, but how did you, I mean, is this something that you kind of, dreamed about? I mean, even though I think you said you were 5 years old when you actually went to your first race. So, and doing that, tell me a little bit about that. How did you kind of elevate to the point where you wanted to become a Cup driver?
Yeah, so I started watching races, I would say probably 5 years old, like I was talking about. And really just at that point, for me, I was just interested in the sport from visually watching it and going to a couple of races with my dad. And, I enjoyed the sport kind of as a race fan. But then as I grew older and I got closer to like my teenage years, I started to discover iRacing. And iRacing was a computer simulation that was basically the closest thing that you could get at the time to racing a real race car. So honestly, I just used that platform for a couple of years to try to learn, the ropes of the sport and kind of how to drive and how to race. And then I was fortunate to get an opportunity to go into a actual race car and try that out when I was probably 14 years old. So it's been a crazy journey. Obviously it's a little bit different for me than a lot of the way the other racers grew up, but I think it's kind of the new wave with the technology aspect, and it's worked well for me. I still use the iRacing today to try to improve my skills, and I feel like it's just an added tool that you can use.
Gotcha. So the iRacing, it's funny you mentioned that. I guess iRacing is the wave of the future now, because I'm sure you being a Cup driver know that it could be very, very expensive to actually race in the lower series to be able to ultimately get to the top level of racing. But iRacing seems like it's an opportunity to, especially for kids who don't have a lot of money, a lot of backing behind them, to ultimately get involved in the sport.
Exactly. And I think that's the cool aspect of it, is the fact that, it's affordable for everyone. I think it's the most affordable racing that you can do. And it's pretty much in line with other sports with, going to buy a basketball or a football or some pads, shoulder pads and things like that. So I think it's a much more accessible tool. I think the realism aspect of it is getting closer and closer, but obviously nothing replaces getting into an actual race car. And whether that's a go-kart or a legend car, which was what it was for me, or a full-size race car. So those things are great.
So William, how does it feel to drive the number 24 car now? Kind of replacing the great Jeff Gordon. So how does it feel to be doing that now?
Oh, it's special. I mean, it's very special for me because I grew up as a fan of the sport, and just to know the meaning and purpose behind that race number is very special for me. I definitely love the way that it looks and the paint schemes that we are able to run, and some of the things that tie me to a great of the sport, one of the greatest of all time. So, I still seek him out for advice, and that is really important to me.
Wow.
Do you feel like there's a lot of pressure? This is your second year. Last year you were a rookie, right?
This is actually my third year.
Third year, okay.
Yeah.
So do you feel like there's a lot of pressure? You're coming into this number 24 car. This is Jeff Gordon. Or do you feel like, yes, you know, the pressure was there, but I'm William Byron in the 24 car now?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I mean, I think there's, you know, when anything happens, anything good happens, I think about, you know, the fans of that number and just the history of it. I guess the history more so than anything. But I do kind of look at it as my own number as well, or my own kind of identity. So I think that's critical, you know, is to be able to look at it as your own thing, and not somebody else's past or history. So it's a fine balance there.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
William, I have a question for you. How hard was it for you going from iRacing to you know, a stock car? Just the communication level between you and the crew chief. Just you know, trying to relate to him what was wrong with the car at the time. Like how hard was that for you going from iRacing to that?
Yeah, that was probably the toughest part, was the face-to-face communication between adults, you know, having to work with like a bunch of different people on a race team versus just answering to yourself kind of when you're on your iRacing or whatnot. But I mean, that's probably the hardest thing today, is just, you know, kind of managing a bunch of different people on a race team and having to answer to them, and having that responsibility to do a good job for them, because their efforts and you know, investment in you to be on the track is very high.
Okay, thank you.
Can you speak to, you just said that, you know, the responsibility, and, you know, you're so young. How did you take on that responsibility? Like, how did you prepare yourself to be able to go in, you know, you're basically, you know, if you're playing football, you're the quarterback of this team, right? So how did that feel? How did you prepare? Is this something that you're still kind of, you know, easing your way into and getting better as time goes on?
Yeah, I think that I'm getting better at it. I'm fortunate that I have a crew chief that is very responsible and very leadership driven. So I'm very fortunate that that's kind of the case for me. So I don't have to do all the leading per se, but you know, I think it's something that you continue to grow into and continue to get better at. But it's a critical part of our sport, is just the leadership aspect and kind of being the quarterback of your team, because of the fact that you are the guy driving the car, and that's ultimately what makes the difference on track. So I think that's, you know, something that just takes time and experience to kind of grasp that concept.
I have a question from, we're going to take one of the questions. It's from William Johnson. So he asked, what was the pivotal moment or catalyst that caused you to transition from sim racing to real racing? Was it someone noticing you, or did you partake in a series?
Really, I just partake in in this driving class, basically, that I was able to join. So because I grew up in Charlotte, I was able to go to the racetrack, and they had a driving school actually for a day that I did, and things went really well. And you know, it really was kind of wait and see how things go, but because it went well, it kind of I guess led to the next opportunity of maybe getting into a race situation.
So what was that race situation? Because I know in the video you talked about, I think the first time you got into a race car was either at 13 or 14 years old.
Yeah. I was so I raced the driving school, and then I went to a racetrack and actually competed in an event. I think it was like November of the following, or a few months later after I got into a car. So you know, I competed in that race, and then I just did several races after that. I think I ended up doing like 60 or 70 races that first year that I drove.
What series was that?
It was legend cars. So the legend cars are based out of Charlotte, and they're kind of like scale size cars, but a little bit bigger than a go-kart, but not as big as a full-size race car.
Right. Yeah, we had a couple students who were racing legend cars.
Okay.
Back in the day, we've had students that have raced in kind of, not, of course, not the top NASCAR series, but we've had students that have go-kart series, different series as they were trying to get into racing and really learn about it. Because unfortunately, like here in Philadelphia, we don't have as many tracks. But them being a part of the racing school, they did get the opportunity because the racing school would front the money. And the kids would race from Poughkeepsie, New York, down to Orlando, Florida. Those students used the Legends, but then we had other students who did the mini cup cars, the super
Mini cup
cars.
car. Yeah.
So yeah, we used to have, or we still have them. We have 8 of those things. And we used to just have this big trailer and just kind of go out, and the kids would, it was a new experience for them.
That's cool.
Yeah, a new experience.
So, hey, William, what advice would you give to a kid who wants to become a professional race car driver?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think that it's honestly comes down to preparation. The opportunities, are hard to come by. Obviously, a lot of things have to come together. You have to have the sponsor support. You have to have, a lot of support from different, people to get to the racetrack. But I would say just effort goes a long way, putting yourself in front of people, having a good attitude, and preparing well, knowing what you're talking about, knowing the facts of racing and really the details, is kind of always what I thought paid off, is just, knowing. I knew a lot of history of the sport. I watched a lot of old races. I learned the sport that way, and I feel like that paid off in a lot of ways. So I would say that's important.
Gotcha.
So
William, I have a I'm sorry.
You guys, if you want to come on, I have one question. I see here another question, but if you guys want to come up, begin to raise your hand. I'm going to start letting you guys in soon enough. Okay. All right. Go ahead, John. My bad.
Okay, William, since the actual COVID pandemic, iRacing has been really big, through the NASCAR scene to help us get through the last couple of weeks with you guys. And you and Timmy Hill was basically winning most of the races when it came to that. Do you see a lot of drivers want to come from iRacing team to the Xfinity level and Cup level? And, like back in the day, it was like emerging Indy drivers. And, sometimes do you see iRacing as the next of all the drivers are becoming? Is it that close to, the real thing of driving a Cup car?
I think so. I mean, I think that, for me, it's not as direct of a thing as it's not like you could just take one car and just plug it in and go into the real car and it be seamless, I guess. But there is an aspect of just learning the racecraft and ability that you can have on there to race around other cars, and the fact that all the cars on there are real life people. So you're always racing against somebody that's actually a real competitor is, I think, really important. I think that makes a huge difference. So I learned a lot from that, just with the racing, and tactics of that. I think that are important.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna go and we have Ari Summers, who's actually an alumni of the Urban Youth Racing School. I'm gonna promote Ari to panelist so he can ask his question.
Okay.
I have a few more questions that keep popping up. All right. So William, while Ari comes up, how are you coping during quarantine? What are you doing?
Just really been training and doing some things of that nature. I kind of the first few weeks of this, I just really spent time at home and with my family. And then as the days and weeks have kind of gone by, I've started to do more and more just to try to prepare for the race coming up.
Okay. All right. So, hey, Ari, how are you?
Hey, Ari.
Ari, you're muted. Hold on. Let me unmute you. Okay. There you go.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Ari.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How you doing, William? Me and my son watched you on the Pro Invitational, so he wanted to ask you a question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
William, what is your favorite food and drink after iRacing?
After that's a good question. You know, I'm a pretty simple eater, so I like Japanese food or any kind of protein and some carbs. My trainer stays on me to try to eat more, so I tried to eat more protein and kind of have a good balance of food. So I guess like Japanese food is pretty good.
I was about to say, can you kind of go a little bit into detail of the protein and the carb? So what kind of proteins, what kind of carbs?
Yeah, I like steak. I like any kind of like New York strip or anything, and then really just I eat a lot of chicken. I'm not a huge seafood person, so I try to stay away from the seafood, but yeah, and vegetables. I like broccoli and rice, any kind of rice.
Good. Thank you, Ari. Thanks,
Thank
babe.
you. Thanks, William. Say bye.
Thank you.
Say
Bye
thank you.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
All right. So I have another question here. It is from William Johnson again. So how would a go-kart driver like me be able to hunt down a sponsor or find an opportunity to move up? You got to get good.
Well, I think some of it's location. Unfortunately, you know, some of the sport is kind of based in a certain location, you know, kind of similar to other sports, I guess you could say, like, or other fields, you know, if you're acting, you know, I guess California kind of is a hub for that. So Charlotte's kind of a hub for racing, I would say. There's a go-kart track that we all go to in Mooresville, North Carolina, that's got a lot of access to go-karts and you know, a lot of people come out there to race and things of that nature. So I'd say that getting yourself out to a racetrack, a local track, wherever that is going to really help, you know, to kind of get in front of people and maybe get the opportunity to try out their car or whatnot.
Okay, and another question I have, this question is from Levon Curry. So, and I get this question a lot, especially during these times, because we have two racing simulators here at the racing school. But, you know, because everything's closed, nobody has access to anything. So one of the students, they asked, how much does a simulator cost and where can you buy one? Now, I know that there's levels, right? When you were young and you were starting, what was it that you used at home?
Yeah, there's a lot of different levels. I used, when I first started out, Logitech has a good pedal and wheel system. So I honestly just used their pedals and their wheel for a while, and had a basic, had actually a laptop that I raced on, but it's better off if you have a desktop computer. You know, I don't know how much, I think you get those for under $500 probably. And then you have a monitor. So I mean, I'd say, you know, the cheapest iRacing system you could get could be $150 to $300. You know, and then obviously there's levels to it. The simulator that I have now is kind of all custom built. The race team that I run for, they built some of the things on there, and then I have a few different people that help me out with computers and things of that nature. So it's all just kind of how big you want to make it. It can be as big or as small as you really want it to be.
So that would be good. That gets you what you need in order to kind of get in there and do the kind of training that you want.
Yeah. You can. I mean, it's really just down to a wheel, pedals, and computer and a screen. You know, is all you need. A good internet connection. So it can be pretty simple.
So, okay. So can you tell me, what did it feel like when you first got the news that you were going to be driving a Cup Series car?
Oh man, it was super exciting. It was super exciting. It was kind of shocking. I was pretty young at the time. I think I was 19 years old. I went over to my team owner's house and was able to talk to him, and it was kind of surprising news, I guess you could say, but you know, I just was excited and just really looking forward to it. It was a great moment.
Awesome. All right, so we have Avante, who's also a Urban Youth Racing School student. I'm gonna promote him to panelist now. All right, so he should be coming up in a second because we got more questions in here. Hey, Avante.
Hello.
Hey, Devontae.
Hey, so my question was, I know a lot of drivers talk about how hard it is for a driver to be in their race and how healthy you guys had to be, how much you had to work out. Like, I know Darlington is a tough track, and then you got the Coca-Cola 600 where you got to be in shape. I was wondering, what kind of workouts do you do to like stay in shape and help your body through all that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a variety of things. I think that the biggest thing is training your reaction time and kind of training your skill set there. So really what we try to do is put myself under a lot of pressure and stress, and then train my reaction and train my abilities under that stress. So just sweat, just doing interval training and things that make me sweat a lot in a quick amount of time and get myself in a hot environment, and then try to work with lights or things on a computer screen to try to test my skills there.
Okay.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
I have, hold on, let me bring him down. Change roles to attendee. Okay. All right, so I have a question from little Taylin Gray, who's in the school. She says, in your opinion, how did the virus change your sport?
Oh gosh, I think it changed everyone's way of life. For me, I just had to be conscious of who I was around, and obviously we weren't able to race for a long period of time. So this will be our first race back here tomorrow. So it changed a lot for me. It was a much different environment. So it was difficult to get used to, but definitely more health conscious, than I was before. And, it changed our sport for sure.
Hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
All right, so our next question comes from Daryl Dorsey. Daryl asks, most athletes make it to the professional ranks through a draft. How were you chosen, and what was it like when you first started testing for the team?
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. The first time I tested for the Cup team was probably 2018 at Las Vegas, and I was honestly, I was really inexperienced. I didn't really know how it was going to go, but there were a lot of people there, so I just didn't want to crash the car or anything like that. So luckily that didn't happen, but it was fun. I really enjoyed that first time that I got a chance to drive, and it was a lot of fun. So hopefully it's like that tomorrow when I get back in the car for the first time. It has that same excitement.
Right.
How do you deal with it? How hot does it get in that car? I think another driver told us it was maybe 140 degrees.
Yeah, about 140 degrees. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy how hot it gets. It's kind of, you'd think it'd be unbearable, which it kind of is, but luckily we're still moving. Whenever the cars stop on the track and you have to wait for a red flag or something, that's the worst, because then all that heat just soaks into the car.
Oh my God. And when you think about you guys, so I was kind of glad that Avante asked that question about how do you stay in shape, because you're in the car for so many hours straight. You can't get out. You can't go to the bathroom. Like, it's insane how your bodies deal with all of this, and then while you're going like 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, I know. It's insane. It's like, that's why it just comes down to training and really just instinct and kind of staying alert, staying focused, is important. But it's way different. Once you're in that car, kind of the focus level is very high for a long period of time.
Hey, William, I have a question for you. So what other type of sports do you like also, or did you actually follow?
I follow a lot of sports. I played football growing up. I think I played for 6 years. So I played from like sixth grade or fifth grade to ninth or 10th grade. So I love football. So I still follow that a lot. I like basketball. I kind of watch all the different sports. There's not really a sport that I don't watch. So I was a big sports fan growing up. So I try to follow all of it.
Are you a Kobe Bryant fan? I saw a Kobe Bryant paint scheme that you had, I believe.
Yeah, we ran a paint scheme in honor of him for the California race, which was really special, I think. I'm not a Lakers fan by any means, but I am a basketball fan, so I can definitely appreciate all that he did and accomplished. And unfortunately, the Hornets drafted him, but they never got a chance for him to play there. So
that would be a fact.
That was a bummer, but
That's right. You're absolutely right about that, William. Absolutely.
It's funny talking about Kobe Bryant. I feel like that was the first thing that happened in 2020 when that tragedy happened, that I feel then changed the trajectory of what this planet was going to do, because like it was a Kobe, it was COVID. Kobe and COVID.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
All
Hey,
right,
William.
I'm sorry.
William, question for you.
Let me get the
What type of
question.
music do you like? Also,
what's that now?
what type of music do you like? Music.
Honestly, I listen to a ton of different music. I like the popular hits today. I like kind of like 80s or 90s rock too. So it's kind of a lot of different music, to be honest, but I like it all. I like most of it. I don't like metal. I don't like not a huge metal.
You don't like metal?
Not too much of a fan.
Who's your favorite hip hop artist
Oh,
or song?
man, that's a good question. I like The Weeknd.
Oh.
The Weeknd's pretty good.
Even though he's an R&B artist.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so this next question is from another student, Xavier Whitaker. He says, how do you promote your racing? So this question is interesting from Xavier because right now, unfortunately, like we had to shut down due to COVID right when the kids were about to do their presentations for their projects. And the next week they were gonna actually start racing at the track.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things that the kids have to do in their Build Your Own Team project is they have to let us know what they have to create a team, right? Pitch sponsors, and they have to let us know what are they going to do to promote their sponsor? Like, why should your sponsor give you $20 million? What are you going to do different? How are you going to market different things like that? So I'm feeling like that's where this question is coming from Xavier. But once again, the question is, how do you promote your racing?
No, that's a good question. I mean, we promote it, every day, really. I have interviews and things to promote the sport and, kind of get it out to a bigger audience. So, typically I have 1 or 2 interviews a day that I go and talk about the sport. And really that's kind of the way that we promote it is through the media and through our fans, that tune in. So I try to do that as much as I can.
Awesome.
Hey, William, are you a student at Liberty University still?
I am. Yeah. I take online classes. So taking an online class right now, actually.
So
What are you majoring in?
Business marketing.
Business marketing? Yeah. And they sponsor your team sometime too, right?
They do. Yeah. They sponsor our race team, like a third of this year. So maybe a little bit more. So yeah, they're a big part of our team for sure.
That's pretty awesome. Like,
Yeah.
that's an awesome way to connect the dots. Like you're a driver at the highest level, and then you're in college. I think that's great. I love that. Well, you know what, William, this has been awesome, but it is time to go into our insane lightning round. All right.
Awesome.
So I came up with this because as far as I'm concerned, you are a daredevil, right? So Chris was saying, no, he's not really. I said, no, anyone who drives 200 miles an hour in a circle, they're a daredevil for hours. All right. So This is kind of like a would you rather, and you kind of have to pick one, okay?
Okay.
It's gonna be totally insane. All right, so the first one, would you rather swim with sharks or swim with hippos?
Oh man, probably sharks because people have done that before.
That's right. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Proven.
That's right.
All right, would you rather eat or wear? Now, if you pick wear, you have to tell me how you're going to wear it. A rattlesnake.
Eat or wear rattlesnake?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I hate snakes. I mean, probably eat it. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it'll taste like chicken.
Well, they say it does taste like chicken.
Maybe it will.
All right. The next one. Would you rather cuddle with a hyena or a black mamba snake?
Oh my gosh, another snake one. I feel like a hyena because I don't know. I feel like hopefully they wouldn't eat me.
All right. Here's another one. Would you rather eat a crispy tarantula spider from Cambodia? Now, these are real delicacies from these countries.
Oh my
Or
gosh.
tuna eyeballs from Japan.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
William said he likes Japanese food.
I think maybe the first one. I don't know.
The
That's
crispy
brutal.
tarantulas from Cambodia.
That's brutal.
All right, this is the last one. And it's because I know that you are, such a daredevil. Would you rather run with bulls or do a high line from 2 mountains in Mount Everest?
Oh.
For those of you who don't know what a high line is, do you know what it is?
What is it now?
So you're at the mountain. This is Mount Everest, and it has different peaks. So at the highest point, they put a rope from this mountain to this mountain, and you have to walk across it.
Wow.
With nothing on.
Oh.
No safety.
That would be a much cooler spectacle, especially if something bad happens. So like I'm gonna go with the Everest because that's something that if you get all the way up there, that's pretty cool.
That's a feat within itself, right? Climbing all the way to the top.
Yeah.
And then highlining, walking across to another part of the mountain on a tightrope is kind of crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. If you do that, you're good. You're golden.
Oh, no.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, Xander, I'm sorry. It was 2 brothers who asked the last question, and I got the brothers mixed up.
Oh, I got you.
All right. So, William, this has been so awesome. Thank you so much.
Hey, William, you have to definitely, when the pandemic is over, come up to the racing school for sure.
Yeah.
The kids would absolutely love to meet you. You have a new fan base here in Philadelphia now. I'm sure the kids are going to be reaching out to me and saying, "Hey, listen, we're going to be supportive of you big time, William." So, and then also they're doing a docu-series on our school.
Okay.
So a docu-series.
Very cool.
They're going to start filming once the pandemic is kind of over. So we definitely will be in contact with you about that for sure. But we're really excited to have connected with you, and we're excited that you spent time with us today. And again, like I said, you have a new fan base up here in Philadelphia, no doubt about it.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. I really enjoyed being a part of it today. It was really fun.
We have one more question. I don't leave this one out. Do you have any interest in other motorsports like WEC or Formula racing?
Yeah, I mean, definitely down the road, it would be nice to try out some different cars. I think it challenges you in some new ways. So I'd be interested in that, hopefully one day.
Nice. All right. So, William, can you tell everyone where they can find you, social media, websites, all of it?
Yeah, so you can find me, it's at William Byron, just my name, no space on Twitter. And then I think my Instagram is the same. I think it's just my name as well. So yeah, you can find me on those 2 channels. I use those probably the most of anything. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I think I tagged you on Instagram.
Okay, yeah.
I definitely tagged you.
John, you want anything final?
Thanks again, William, and good luck tomorrow. I know it's going to be a different feel because you've been walking to the good. So just good luck tomorrow. Be safe. And,
Thank
see you soon at the track.
Hey William, we will be watching you tomorrow and rooting for you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Y'all have a good one.
You too.
All right.
All right, guys, hold on one sec. I am going to end the broadcast, but give me 1 second. Hold on. Stop this.